we welded nuts to the tracks on the case machine just so it could grip in the snow. Well, it worked fine, but it was kind of hard on the concrete, so we scrapped that idea. We scrap ideas around here too, not just metal. Welcome back, everybody. It's another day at Bulldog. It's January now. I hope everybody had a good Christmas break. Hope Santa was nice to you. And if he brought you any appliances, you know where to bring your old ones. So we're gonna go for a walk today, and we're gonna talk about winter conditions here at Bulldog. They're not unlike anywhere else. You gotta be very careful while you're walking. You know, as you can see, there's a lot of ice there. A big problem in a scrapyard is there's metal anywhere. So if there was a snowfall the night before, it's very common that there'll be a slippery piece of metal underneath it. So you gotta be careful. Now that truck's off the scale, we'll go over here. So when we have a snowfall, first thing every morning we do is we come and we clean the scale of all snow so it weighs properly and it's not too slick and icy. The weather recently has been very, very cold. So overnight, we've had to take pretty much every machine you see here and stick it in that tiny shop. And tonight we're probably gonna have to fit the trucks in there too, so it'll be a bit of a tight squeeze. But as you can see, everything's running, operating good. If we didn't take it in, it would probably take up to an hour to get the oils running in the morning, warmed up properly, so the machines can operate properly.
So how cold or talking it's going to get tonight?
Well, tonight it's supposed to be minus 30 plus. Who knows, it could get up to minus 35. Last night wasn't too bad. We only had a few things come in, but we want everything to start in the morning so we can keep business going as usual. But yeah, over the years, you see machines sliding all over and you can't get any grip. There was a time where just to get grip in the snow, we welded nuts to the tracks on the case machine just so it could grip in the snow. Well, it worked fine, but it was kind of hard on the concrete. So we scrapped that idea. We scrap ideas around here too, not just metal. You know, it's cold enough out here. Why don't I come inside and show you guys some aluminum? We had Bettinson's deliver some sand. That's now looks more like a snowbank, but we try every morning to take some sand out of that and do the whole parking lot just so people aren't sliding and slipping all over the place. It isn't easy getting a forklift out here, that's for sure. Yeah, a lot of sliding and sticking, and you got to get machines to push you out, and it's not fun. But we can use the skid steer, and it's perfectly fine. It's got four-wheel drive. There's Rick. Say hi, Rick.
Yeah. Rick has been outside for 2 hours.
Good job, Rick.
Okay. So, the most abundant metal we see in the non-fair shop, I would say, is aluminum. And the thing about aluminum is there's so many different kinds, you know? It's not just beer cans people make out of aluminum. But we have some of those too. I'm going to talk to you today about extrusions, and if you come over here, we just dumped a bin from a great customer, and it's got some of this is all cable tray, but it's all extrusion. I'll show you. Okay, so this here is a piece of 6063 extrusion. It's probably one of the more valuable metals we have there, as you can see, it says aluminum 6063 right there. So, if we separate all our aluminums, and we'll even cut that sticker off just so it's completely clean, you can get a very high premium for them. And not just us, you the customer. Our extrusions vary anywhere from 65 to 90 cents a pound. So what we'll do with the aluminum is we'll take it here and we'll shear it. To smaller sizes so we can fit more in the bins over here. So this is our 6063 bin. And as you can see, it fits a lot of this stuff if we cut it up properly. This here is extrusion with a small amount of steel on it, up to 3%, that if you bring it in, even though it's got steel, it's irony, we can still give you a little more money than, say, another piece of aluminum that has steel on it. This stuff here is called 1010. That means anything with stickers, paint, a little bit of dirt, glue, any adhesives. So we'll put it in here just because it's got a slight bit of contamination on it. Oh, that shouldn't be in there. And then here we have 6061, very similar to 6063, but as you can see, it's more structural. It's got more basic shapes like rectangle, circles, squares. Bit of angle there. And the difference between that and 6063 is it's just a little more intricate. You know, when it was extruded, it's got these lips and fins on it. That's probably your best way to tell. It's almost a little more ornamental. Used a lot in door frames and window frames. So that's 6061 extrusion. But we also have something called 6061 plate. And that would be this stuff here. Very similar, just one's been extruded, one's a plate. This one's bent up pretty good. I think this one's seen the baler at some point. Oh, and here we have, this is what you would call thermal break. Still extrusion, but a lot of it has glass on it, pieces of rubber. So just a little more contaminated than this one or the 1010. Yeah, steel and pieces of glass and rubber. But yeah, those are about the 5 different types of extrusion we separate our extrusion into. But as you can see, it's not the only aluminum we have. There's many, probably the most diverse of all the aluminums that we separate. We see a lot of this stuff here. This is what we would call MLC, mixed low copper clip aluminum, meaning it's got a small amount of copper in it. A lot of this stuff here, people will take it apart and bring it into us. They'll separate their kit, like this would have copper in it. Here, I'll show you a piece here. We were doing a bit of this today. You take the outside jacket off, you get it down to that aluminum, and then you pull the copper out from the middle of it. Just for a little more money. It's worth a little more when it's separated like that, rather than trying to sell it as is with the copper and the insulation and the aluminum all mixed together. Here's what the process looks like. Back over to the stripper. As you can see, this is a half done piece, but here's where we're putting our garbage. Here's where we're putting our aluminum. And then we're getting it down to this product, which we'll call that about 70% copper wire. Originally it would have been about 60% contaminated, maybe even 65, but now it's more like 30% with no aluminum involved, so it's worth a lot more money now. in the scrap industry, you make some pretty interesting deals over time. And just recently, there was a brewery that went out of business. So what we did is we bought all the contents of the warehouse. And we had a full trailer load of these. And anyway, we took them, we stuck them in this baler here, and then we turned them into this. So that right there is probably 200 pounds, but we took about 3 of them, put them in a bale. As you can see, there's 3 different pallets here. You can tell by the types of cans. And we turned it into 600 pounds. It's way easier to transport, makes the customer happier on the other side. It's a lot easier to deal with.
So you may, like, instead of taking it to the bottle depot or something.
Well, the reason they couldn't, because the cans are actually open on top. They've never had any liquid in them, so they haven't been put out into the system yet. So there's no technical deposit on them yet. It's because we tried that. That was our first option, but then we found out that because they haven't been filled and put to market, that we can't actually sell them at a bottle depot because there's been no deposit put on them, so you can't get it back, right? So we just squished them. So this would be aluminum turnings, all from a machine shop. We see them, they come in with 2 of these, probably once every couple months. All we do is we give them the tote, we swap them out, and they take her, and then yeah, we take them, we ship them as is. Anything from turnings to extrusion to cast, like a pot or a pan. See it all. From beer cans to radiators and everything in between. So guys, I hope you learned something today about aluminum and winter scrap yards. But make sure to keep watching because every day is different at Bulldog and it's never a dull moment. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe and tell your friends. And make sure always come to Bulldog for fair prices on all metals. Anything from batteries to combines to old tractors, even beer cans. You bring them into Bulldog Metal, we'll pay a fair market price on everything you got. We'll see you next time.